Hey there, Cheryl here. I wanted to have an impromptu live conversation because in the last couple of weeks, I have been asked this question so many times by some of the most incredible female executives that I have the honor of working with. So I thought I'd shed a little light on this in hopes that it might help you too. So, we're going to be talking about motivation, how to keep ourselves motivated, and also how to motivate teams, especially during challenging times, because it really feels like we're entering into a different climate right now. And so, a couple things. The first thing is it's very important to first, when you're addressing team, whether it's in one-on-ones or large meetings or what have you, to start very high level and aspirationally. So, in other words, that puts people's minds in a place of possibility. That is, rather than talking about, numbers, results, expectations, things like that. So, number one is start high level aspirationally. And there's a quote that talks about if you're going to build a ship, for example, it's very important not to tell people to go out and find the planks and do the things and put the ship together when they're going out to sea, but first to talk to them about the mysteries of the ocean and the excitement of setting sail. So hopefully that's a good example of how to get very high level aspirational and put people in a place of possibility first. And then we're going to talk about how to spark motivation. There's two main components about how to spark motivation. And this is from, if you've worked with me currently or in the past, it's from the high performance declaration sessions, which are based on the book, The Motivation Manifesto by Brendan Burchard. If you haven't, no worries, this will make 100% sense. And if you have been introduced to it, it'll just be a little bit of a reminder. So to spark motivation, it's a combination of two things. One is ambition plus expectancy. So in other words, understanding and help communicating that ambition is a choice, and we and our teams either choose to accept the ambition, or we don't. And there's ways to help team get on board, kind of get on the bus, so to speak. But it's important that they understand that it's a choice, and this is an opportunity to speak to their integrity. There's a reason why you hired all of your amazing team, and so this is really a time to speak to their integrity and really get them motivated by understanding your belief in them and what their highest sense of integrity is, and so they can choose their ambition. In other words, choose to move forward. And then what's also important is this is combined with expectation. It's going to be, if people have ambition, that's super important, but they also have to have expectancy. And what that means is their belief that something can occur, their belief in themselves, their belief in you as a leader. And so, of course, it's really important that we as leaders have to believe in what we're talking about first. And if there's any little inkling of fear or doubt in our mind, then it's important that that is addressed before we address them. So to spark motivation, it's important to combine ambition, knowing that it is a choice, and also expectancy. And if those are low, then make sure that those are brought up to where they need to be. So we don't just want to spark motivation, but we also want to sustain it. And the two ways to sustain motivation is really to combine effort with attention. And when I'm speaking about attention, it's getting laser focused, because what happens is motivation gets lost when we get distracted. And so it's very important to have attention top notch, especially now. It's forward progress that helps people to stay motivated. So a couple ways to do that is to visualize the outcome that you want to have on a long-term basis, but even on a daily basis, like visualizing how you want the day to go, how you want the outcome to go. Because when times get challenging, people get really good at catastrophizing. So you want to make sure that visualizing and also setting goals, scheduling time to make that progress, to measure progress. So all of that really needs to be tightened up right now. And then also effort, just putting in the work and the effort and making sure that progress is being tracked. And so finally, in addition to sparking motivation and sustaining motivation, the last one is amplifying motivation. And to amplify motivation, two of the main factors that have to do with this are attitude and also environment. So it's extremely important that you're mindful of anyone who might be an emotional contagion. In other words, who might not have the best attitude or what have you. And keeping in mind, there might be remarkably productive people that are done incredible in past seasons of business, but now going into a challenging season of business, it's very important that if they are not positive, not forward thinking, they can really kind of contaminate the folks that are very positive. And so it's extremely important that attitudes are in check, that they're positive, forward thinking, and optimistic is the really, really important one. And that's true for ourselves and also for team. And if there's anyone on team who is not, who you're concerned about, then it would really warrant the time to helping them to, shift that mindset. And then finally, environment. Environment is really important too for motivation. It could be in people's individual and team's individual workspace, or if you're having an offsite, or if people are back to the office, then being mindful of what their environment is like, so they can stay positive and optimistic about the road ahead. So a recap that we were talking about: sparking motivation, sustaining motivation, and also amplifying motivation. And this is all based on the high performance declaration sessions and the book of Brendan Burchard, The Motivation Manifesto, specifically on pages 51 to 69. If I can help with these in any way, or if you want any more details, just go ahead and send me a private message. I am cheering you on always, and I look forward to seeing you next time.